Nintendo games are known for being uplifting and lighthearted. They're colorful and known for getting people in the right mood. They're making you happy. There's not too many Nintendo games that you can make a case for being a horror game, except for Hey Pikmin, because that was horrible. But if there was ever a game for Nintendo to release to take the horror aspect to a new level, it was without a doubt Luigi's Mansion 1 on the Nintendo GameCube. Still to this day, I believe Luigi's Mansion is one of the scariest Nintendo games ever released. This game brought genuine fear into me when I was a child, and still, if you play it today, at night, it will kind of creep you out. This game has all type of fear, from little to big, and lots of jump scares to keep you on your toes your entire playthrough. So if you've never played through Luigi's Mansion, let me tell you what you can pretty much expect. This game is developed within 4 different levels of fear for me, and it's 4 different things that make this fear dimension come to reality. First off is the lighting. Luigi's Mansion has brilliant lighting, and this is a very important aspect when you're trying to make a creepy game, because you don't want lights washing out every single portion of the world that you're traversing. For instance, you don't want all that outside light coming through windows or even indoor lights turned on, because it wouldn't really work well with ghosts appearing and scaring Luigi and giving that aspect of a creepy old abandoned mansion. And Luigi's Mansion does this great, especially when you start the game and there's no lights turned on, because once you complete a room, the light is turned on, allowing Luigi to traverse the area with a new lit approach. But this time, I'm talking about all the lights turned off, because it is almost pitch black when you first enter the mansion, and getting through there and having ghosts appear randomly is extremely scary, simply because of the fact that you really can't see too much when you're walking around. Luigi's Mansion 3 had a little bit of a problem with its lighting, because lots of the time there was lights on in every room. I understand that each floor had a different cool unique theme, but it really didn't do so well with the scare factor, because everything was lit and brightened and it really wasn't scary when things happened because of that lighting. Now, a main reason behind that could simply be due to the fact that the Luigi's Mansion 3 is made in a hotel, and I'll get to more on this in a second with the next category. But since it's in a hotel, the front lobby is just giant windows, and the only thing that can shine through is the nighttime sky, the moon, and the stars, so that shines through the foyer, making it a lot less darker than it could be. And that's the only problem. Maybe put curtains over those windows, but man, Luigi's Mansion didn't have too many windows, so there wasn't too much light coming through into the foyer of the mansion, and everything was just completely dark from your start. The second thing is the mansion layout. It doesn't feel like a modern house. Everything is vintage, from the walls to the floors. You can tell that it was made from an older family a long time ago, and they used to live here a very long time ago. The wall designs and floor layouts are all feeling like old tile and wood planks, and they just give off that nostalgic classic look that feels like a creepy old house. And if you ever watched like a scary movie, you'll realize that it's like a family moving into an old house being renovated, something to do with an old rundown house. And that's why this mansion is so important, because it's an old rundown mansion with a family that used to live in there, but now they're a family of ghosts, which is very, very interesting. So this is the approach that they should have took, I think, for Luigi's Mansion 3, with maybe a rundown hotel, but instead the hotel was very modern, and it had lots of modern, uniqueness to it, and it was very good condition. Now, that hotel was in great condition and upkept by the ghosts that lived there. But this time with Luigi's Mansion, it was very creepy. Everything was scary looking, from the attic with the wood chips everywhere, from the wood on the ceiling and the floors, from the basement with the stones and the moss growing all over the stones and the mice running around. It all had that atmosphere of a creepy old house that used to be inhabited. Even running through the hallways, you can tell that the wallpaper on the walls are just super old and outdated, and it just gives off that creepy vibe even more. Number 3 is the music/sounds that the game has. Normally, I absolutely adore Nintendo music, and I look for it in almost every game I play. But Luigi's Mansion 1 is my one exception, because there's only one main theme to this game. It's a great theme, but it's the only theme that's played throughout almost every room and every floor and every part of the house. And it's a very creepy, low-toned theme that completely shivers you up when you see ghosts come by. The outside theme is the same exact theme throughout the mansion, but it's in a softer piano solo tone, and it's very, very, very quiet, but it's so creepy the way it's played on the piano, and it really does add that outside atmosphere a little bit more with that same exact song. But what's even scarier is after you complete a level, the lights turn on and the music stops. Yes, there's no music, it's just ambient sounds from Luigi's footsteps to his whistling to the mice skittering across the floors and the ghosts in the other rooms. And it's a very scary feeling, even with the lights on, because there's nothing. You really just don't quite understand how scary it is to not have music in video games, because it leaves that just complete awkwardness for the player. You're just sitting there hearing nothing but sounds and wondering what's going to pop out at you next. And it's just one of the best things that they've done for this game is the sound. With the creepy mansion theme to completing a room and having absolutely no music but just sounds really adds to the depth and the scariness of the game. Now, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 actually has a lot of catchy little tunes and stuff here and there, which is not really a good idea for a game made to make you scared, because if you're over here humming a song, you're pretty sure not going to get that scared. But, you know, Luigi's Mansion 1 does this excellently. Number 4, the Portrait Ghost. Now, I know Luigi's Mansion 3 had Portrait Ghosts as well, but let me tell you why Luigi's Mansion 1 was so creepy with them. Number 1, they really didn't speak to you at all. There was a couple that did, I know, but for the most part, you would come across one and immediately go into a battle with them because they would be so angry that you came in and intruded them, and they immediately try to kill Luigi, and that was just so scary. You had no background information, you really had no reasoning to, know why they're trying to kill you, but they just tried because you were intruding, and that's what was so scary. They didn't speak to you, they didn't give you a whole elaborate cutscene and stuff about what they could do, and that what was so different. You just came across these ghosts and they completely startled you when you did. They were random encounters and they weren't led up to be a big boss battle at the end of each floor, like in Luigi's Mansion 3. You'd enter the floor and you would have this giant cutscene as to who the boss is, and your goal was to make it to him by the end of the floor. Well, this time there was no cutscene, there was no lead up, you just boom, ran into a ghost and you had to defeat them with no real crazy elaborate cutscene story to back it up for each chapter. And that's what was so interesting. It was scary because it was a quick encounter and you immediately had to react. It was a flight or fight reaction and you had to go straight into battle. That's what was so creepy, because you didn't know what you were facing, and it was just completely random when these things would pop up, and you would just completely be on your toes the entirety of the mansion. Now, I have 7 instances specifically within the game that really creeped me out as a kid that I can definitely remember. Now, if you don't want to be spoiled and you watching this and you're like, dang, I'm going to try this game, don't watch this part because this could spoil a lot of the main story points, but these are 7 things that creep me out the most, and this is why Luigi's Mansion is so scary. Number 1 is seeing the ghost father Neville for the first time. You're just walking through a door and then you see this ghost sitting and rocking in a chair and just like kind of makes you stop for a second because you have no clue that there's Portrait Ghost or anything like this in the game. You're just like, whoa, is that a person? And trying to figure out how to stop him or how to suck him up is one of the most, confusing, most strange and scary things that you first start the game off with. Number 2 is seeing the floating candlestick in the middle of the hallway slowly moving, and then you finally see what the ghost looks like. It's a ghost butler, and it kind of makes you jump as he's walking down the hallway, and it's just a creepy feeling of him following you the entire time. Number 3 is once again that boss music. You'll get a certain theme that plays with certain bosses that are very aggressive, and it can be a very scary situation with that music playing and everything and the whole atmosphere around it. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Number 4, having random ghosts appear in hallways or try to throw a bowling ball that blows up on you, or those ghosts that fall from the ceiling can really startle you if you're not paying attention. If you're just walking down the hallway for your first time and these things just pop out and make Luigi fall down, you will truly get scared. Number 5, the blackout. Remember when I said the lighting is really good in this game because everything's really dark at first? Well, imagine a part of the game where all the power in the whole mansion goes out, and you have to traverse all the way to the beginning to get a specific ghost, and it's just completely scary. I mean, I'm telling you, you'll have tons of new ghosts appearing, and ghosts literally every single section of the hallways and the rooms that you already looked through, and you have to make your way through a pitch black mansion with ghosts all around. It is a very terrifying moment in the game, and probably one of my favorite parts in the entire game. Number 6, you have the ghost girl sleeping on the ceiling. Yes, this is something taken straight out of a horror movie, and you walk into the room first and it's fine. You walk out after she tells you to leave, and you come back and the room's upside down and she's sleeping on the ceiling, and she gets very angry and tries to really hurt Luigi, and it's something that's very terrifying when she does. I do not like this room because it creeps me out even today, and this is a very creepy atmospheric approach to a room and to a portrait boss battle. And finally, number 7, going down the corridor to finally reach King Boo and defeat him in order to save your brother Mario. This is a very scary, surreal, let's hype up and let's do this situation. The end of the game, and if you do it before you've collected all the ghosts or some of the most important ghosts, you'll get sent back to the beginning in a very scary animation. This whole walking down the corridor area with all the stones on the wall and seeing King Boo talking to you but then slowly turning around and flipping the screen is a very scary, creepy feeling and a very great way to end the game. This is why, to me, to this very day, Luigi's Mansion 1 on the original Nintendo GameCube is one of the most scary experiences I've ever had with video games, and especially with Nintendo games. And man, they really put that scare factor into a game, and we really don't see that with any games today. It's a lot more kid-friendly, a lot more casual, and not so intense as Luigi's Mansion 1 was. As you can see, Luigi's Mansion 3 was more about puzzles and going to different rooms and different themes, but man, there's nothing quite like that scary Luigi's Mansion 1 game, and there would probably never be anything quite like it again. But in the comments down below, guys, let me know what you thought of Luigi's Mansion 1. Did you think it was as scary as I did? I still think it's kind of scary when you play the game at night, and it just really does have that scare factor to it. Let me know down below, because I'm very interested in seeing how you guys perceive this game, and if I just am the only one that think it's that scary. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoy to stay up to date on all things Nintendo. Thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.